All right, so good morning, everybody. We are going to discuss our next topic for the subject tourism and hospitality marketing. But before we begin with our first lesson for this topic, I would like to ask you this question. Why are people willing to pay more for the same product or service? Anybody? Okay, Oles. Okay, for the quality of the product. So sometimes or most of the time we are paying or we are willing to pay more for the quality of the product. How about the others? Anybody? What was your or what are your reasons, Jana? Okay, so based on branding, reputation, quality, so on and so forth. So those are some of your reasons why you are willing to pay more than uh, even though the product or the services is the same or are the same. So now, in this question, we will go through the topic that all about pricing in tourism and hospitality marketing. So, um, for this lesson, I would like you to read these learning objectives. May I call on Tabuena? Tabuena, are you there? Yep. Can you please read the learning objectives? Thank you. So these are the learning points that you should be able to acquire at the end of our discussion. So moving forward, first is let's define price. So in our previous lesson, we discussed the 8 P's of marketing. Okay, and one of the 8 P's is the price. So if anybody can remember what is a price in the 8 P's of marketing? Liana, Aliana, sorry. Okay, very good. So it is a very simple explanation. So when we say price, it is the amount a customer pays to avail a product or a service, such as a hotel room, tour package, airline ticket, restaurant meal, or event pass. So when we say price, as mentioned by Liana, it is the money or the amount that we are paying for a certain products or services. Okay. So now, next is why price matters. Okay, so why do we need to take in consideration pricing when it comes to our products and services and when it comes to the development and success of our businesses or our organization? What are the reasons? Why do we need to take in consideration the pricing? Anybody? Daphne. Okay, for the budget. Others? Shannon. Yes, dear, loud and clear. Very good. So setting expectations or putting expectations to the products and services that we are buying. How about Bernadette? Yes, dear. Very good. So, price, competition, and the options in the market are widely available. That's why we are considering price when we are buying our products and services. So, all of those things that you mentioned were all correct. And just to summarize, these are some of the big concerns why market or why consumer is taking in consideration the price. So, the first one is we have demand timing. So when we say demand timing, it is the seasonality, whether a products or a services is in demand or not in demand. So it is very given that when the season is high, okay, all of the rates or all of the prices of a certain products and services are high as well. Okay? So, tumataas siya kasi madaming demand or maraming nangangailangan. So, for example, during summer, ba? When it comes to tourism and hospitality products and services, during summer, a lot of tour packages are being offered. A lot of airline seats are being offered. And there are some destinations that the products or the services that being offered there are high because there are a lot of demand. For example, Siargao. But there are news and issues lingering when it comes to traveling to Siargao. Kasi sabi nga nila, bakit mas mahal pang mag-travel to the Philippines compared to the other neighboring ASEAN countries. So that's what we call demand timing because there are a lot of foreigners, there are a lot of people who are coming to Siargao right now. Okay? So that's why the prices of the products and services there are way higher compared to the other destinations. Okay, another example for demand timing is um, those products and services that are trending or booming. Okay, one of the best example of this is yung Dubai chocolate. 'Di ba? There is a high demand of that Dubai chocolate nowadays, especially online. Okay? And the prices of those products is up high or far different from the normal, the same product na ino-offer sa market. Okay? That's what we call demand timing. It's about seasonality. Next is segment choice. So in the previous discussion, we tackled about different types of market segmentation. Okay, so we have geographic segmentation, demographic segmentation, technographic segmentation, behavioral and psychographic segmentation. And those segmentation has or have a connections when it comes to pricing. Okay, you have to always remember that per segment, okay, or per category of consumer or market, they have different choices. Okay, and the pricing of those products and services that they are purchasing or buying is depending on their segment choice. So, for example, you are in a demographic segment, okay, for under your age. So, millennials, Gen Z, boomers, okay? So, those age have different consideration when it comes to pricing because let's say boomers have more money to spend than millennials and Gen Z who are just starting for their career. Okay? Another example is psychographic segmentation. So for psychographic, your values when it comes to traveling. Okay, so for example, the other one of the customer, his or her values when it comes to traveling is luxury. So meaning you are spending a lot of money when it comes to traveling because that's your values when it comes to traveling, hindi dapat tinitipid. While on the other hand, there are customers or there are travelers who are traveling in a budget friendly manner. So meaning as long as makakatipid sila or as long as makakasave sila, then they will prioritize those packages or those things na mas mababa yung presyo because that's their lifestyle or that's their values. So that's what we call segment choice. The pricing matters because of your category or your variations. Do you still follow, class? Can I have a reaction, please? All right, very good. Next, perceive service quality. So as mentioned by Olis earlier, we are purchasing certain products and services based on its price because of its quality. So meaning, um, people are buying or purchasing a product because we think that a certain product will be at highest quality because of its price. So meaning, we are uh, in your our behavior or our psychological manner tend to give us signals na ay bumili ka ng neto, mas mahal to kasi mas maganda yung quality. 'Di ba? Meron tayong ganung connotation na mas mahal, mas maganda yung quality. But it's not all the time. However, yun yung na-perceive natin or yun yung iniisip natin na when we are buying a products that are much higher, then the quality will become higher as well. Okay? Next, business profitability. So, when it comes to pricing matters, business profitability must be taken in consideration. Siyempre, hindi ka naman nagninegosyo para lang mag bumagsak yung negosyo mo or magpalugi. Siyempre, you are creating a business or you are creating a sustainable organization in order for you to sustain it for a longer period of time. And the end goal is to earn money. That's why when you are putting prices on your products and services, you have to take in consideration those matters or those prices para meron kang gains or meron kang income at the end of the operations. That's why pricing matters when we are in tourism and hospitality marketing because we tend to make sure that this consideration is being linked to our actions or to our strategies in order for us to make sure that the products and services that uh, given to our customers are aligned with these matters. Okay? Next, there are a lot of general pricing approaches. So when we say general pricing approaches, paano tayo or ano yung mga kino-consider natin when we are putting price or putting cost sa mga products and services na ibebenta natin? How are we going to align our costing to the existing market? So what are those actions or strategies that we are trying to approach for us to put pricing on our products and services? So the first one, we have cost-based pricing. So what do we mean when we say cost-based pricing? So when we say cost-based pricing, it is also known as cost plus. Okay? So when we say cost plus, it defines as a method where a markup is added over costs to arrive at the products and service price. So meaning, you're just going to, from your puhunan, diba? Meron kayong puhunan or your capital. Okay? You're going to put an additional amount of money or magta-top up ka, magma-mark up ka before you sell your product. So for example, you create a coffee, Spanish latte. Its capital cost 150 pesos. Yun, capital mo pa lang yun. Wala ka pa, puhunan mo pa lang yun. So, para tumubo ka, you're going to top up. Okay, magdadagdag ako ng 30% on the price of my coffee. So, from 150, you're going to make it 180 pesos. Because the 30% markup will be your cost plus or your additional on top of the capital. So that's what we call cost-based pricing. Okay? So now, since cost-based pricing is being done in the market, okay, or in the business, I will ask you, what do you think is the strength of cost-based pricing or cost plus? If you're going to put top up or mark up on the prices of your products and services. Anybody? What's the positive side of cost-based pricing when it comes to our products and services? Excuse me. May I call on Tating. Correct. Thank you, Gwyneth. So correct, class. Simple as that. You are going to put top up because you want to earn money. You want to earn profit. Okay? So, ang gawa mo na nga dun sa coffee, 150, tapos ibebenta mo pa rin siya ng 150. So, what's the sense of that? So, you are putting top up or you are putting markup because you want to earn money or you want to earn income. So, that's one of the strengths of cost-based pricing that was mentioned by Tating. So, also, one of the strengths of cost-based pricing is it is easy to compute. 'Di ba? Even though you do not have calculator, it's for you to decide how much you're going to top up or how much you're going to mark up to your products and services. So you do not need Pythagorean theorem, you do not need calculus in order for you to put markup or top up to your products and services. That's why it is easy to compute for a certain products or services. Okay? That's one of the strength. Next is, as mentioned by Tating, is to earn profit or to earn income. Okay? Because it ensures cost recovery. Meaning, when you put markup or when you put top up to your products and services, at the end of your operation, you are sure that you have profit. You are sure that you have income and you are sure that your business will become sustainable because you already covered your operational expenses and you already gain your target cost recovery. So that's the strength of cost-based pricing. But what's the limitation of cost-based pricing? Anybody? So kung meron siyang strength, ano naman yung mga limitations? Anyone? May I call on Oreno? What's the limitation of cost-based pricing? Yes, dear, loud and clear. What do we mean? Okay, very good. I already got it. What do you mean? So, one of the limitation mentioned by uh, Madam is the wars or the pricing of the competition is not being taken in consideration. Kasi nga, sabi natin, when we say cost-based pricing, it is us who is this dictating on what amount we're going to put on our prices. So that's the strength. But limitation is we are not considering our competition. Baka naman nagta-top up tayo for a coffee, ginawa nating 300. Tapos yung mga katabi nating coffee shop, ang presyo lang pala 100. So we are putting a top up without considering our competitions. So that's one of the limitations of cost-based pricing. And also, we ignore what customers are willing to pay. So hindi natin chine-check or hindi natin binibigyan ng consideration kung magkano ba yung mga budget or yung money na meron yung customer natin. For example, you created a travel agency in a neighborhood or in a community located in a province. Okay? But your travel packages cost millions of pesos. But your community there can only be earning at least 30 to 50,000 pesos per month. So, yes, that's the amount of your products and services, but it is not aligned to the budget or to the amount that your customers are willing to pay. Millions ang offer mo sa tour packages mo, but the income of your neighborhood or of your target market is far below on that pricing. So we ignore those customers that are willing or have the capacity to buy on our products and services. And as mentioned, we ignore the competitor prices and demand conditions. Okay? Dahil sarili lang natin yung nagde-dictate kung magkano yung ilalagay nating presyo. Wala na tayong pakialam or hindi na natin tinitingnan yung prices, okay? Or yung rates ng mga competitors natin. Hindi natin chine-check if it's higher or lower among all of our competitors. And the demand conditions. Summer, ay sige okey na 'tong 200 i-charge ko na lang sila for kayaking for 200. In demand yung kayaking because of summer. So, lugi ka na. Okay? That's what we call the limitations of cost-based pricing. Okay? Do you still follow? Good. Next, value-based pricing. So, what do we mean when we say value-based pricing? So, when we say value-based pricing, it is based on the benefits provided of the products and services. And it's common for customized or professional services. So, in short, ang binabayaran natin dito ay yung quality or the benefits that we are trying to get on that products or services. Okay? So, most of the time daw, ang target market natin dito is mga customers na nagpapa-customize or mga professional services. Anybody who can give me an example of a value-based pricing? Bernadette, can you write down the names of those who will answer in my question starting from here? Anybody? Example of a value-based pricing. Ariane, right? Give me a concrete example. Okay, so Nike shoes is considered as value-based pricing as mentioned by Ariane. So by how? So meaning Nike is one of the famous shoe brand in the world, okay, that gives benefits when it comes to comfort, okay, durability, diba? So that's what we call the value-based pricing. We get what we've paid for. Even though we paid 5,000 pesos, 10,000 pesos, but the benefits and the value that we can get on that product is top tier. Okay? Others, Francine. Okay, good. So luxury goods are also putting value-based pricing because that's what you are paying for. Diba? You are, for example, you buy an iPhone versus a China phone. Okay? So, if when it comes to durability, when it comes to quality, so magkaiba or malayong malayo based on the pricing that we are getting. Another example related to tourism and hospitality. Anybody? Uh, Bustria. Okay. How is that so? How does it happen? Okay, good. So when it comes to prices of the tickets that are being sold in the airline. So magkaiba yung mga low cost carrier versus dun sa mga high-end uh, seats. Like for example, when you purchase economy ticket, then this will be your amenities. This will be your perks. But when you purchase a business class ticket, then this will be your perks. This will be your amenities. So it differs based on the pricing and the value and benefits that it is being offered. Another one of the best example of this is, please remember the Amanpulo resort. Okay, so Amanpulo is one of the famous hotel and resort exclusive, okay, for celebrities, influencers, and people who can afford it. Okay, Amanpulo is practicing the value-based pricing, meaning imagine you are paying 100,000 to 300,000 per night in Amanpulo. Okay, so, ma'am, why is it too pricey? Or, ma'am, why is it too costly? Okay, because they are practicing value-based pricing. In in exchange of the price that you are getting or paying on that hotel and resort, you will get an exceptional products and services that they will offer. So, Amanpulo, they are only catering a limited number of tourists or vacationers. Okay, they are not too crowded, unlike with other um, sea destinations. And also, you have your own butler, you have your own villa, and you are very well served by the people or by the employees working there. That's what we call the value-based pricing. You tend to get the benefits of the amount that you paid for. Okay. Next, competition-based pricing. So it is very self-explanatory. When we say competition-based pricing class, you set a prices based on what competition charge. Okay? You often match it, you often undercut, or you are positioning your prices above them or beyond their prices. So since there are a lot of competition nowadays in the market, sobrang dami niyong makikita, especially online, yung mga travel agency na nag-o-offer ng different tour packages. Okay? Their prices is uh, very lowball, yung iba, so too good to be true, in order for them to catch a market or to a customer. So what will happen when we have a competition based pricing? What do you think will be the downside of the competition based pricing? Anybody? Shy, Acosta. That will cause to what will happen? Perfect. Very good. Correct, class. So, in competition-based pricing, in order for the businesses, okay, to sustain their operation and to uh, because, and to make a sale at the end of the operation, they tend to lower to the lowest their prices para lang mabilihan sila. But hindi na siya sustainable cause sa sobrang bagsak presyo, palugi na imbes na kumita sila. Okay? And that leads to bankruptcy or magsasara yung business nila kasi hindi na nila masustain. Okay? And yun yung tinatawag nating price wars. Okay? Nagpapababaan sila ng presyo, nagpapadamihan sila ng freebies, ng mga add-ons, so on and so forth. Hanggang sa too good to be true na hindi na nila na maintain yung tamang products and services quality na ino-offer nila sa market. Diyan na. Very good. So correct. That's what we call the price war. So the quality is neglected. So sa sobrang baba na nung presyo or nung rate na ino-offer nila sa sobrang daming add-ons, pero at the end of the day, hindi na naman nila nasusustain yung quality. So most of the time, we can experience this sa mga tour packages. There are a lot of add-ons, kasama na hotel accommodation, transportation. But when you go to the hotel, okay, so mabibigla ka, ito na ba yun? Ito na ba yung binayaran ko? Or hindi na nila nasusustain yung services or highest quality being offered sa sobrang daming in-offer nilang napakamurang packages, sobrang daming nag-avail. So dun sa tour, imbis na 10 lang kayo or 5 lang kayo, 30 or 30 kayo na kasama dun sa group tour. So imagine how will they make sure that they can offer a highest quality of products and services to those target market. So that's what we call competition based pricing. Now, we are done with the different approaches. Now, let's move on to pricing strategies. What are the actions? What are the strategies that the company must do or doing right now in order for them to sustain the products and services that they are offering? And how do they promote it, okay, or market it to their target market? Okay. So the first one, we have what we call prestige pricing. Okay, from its word prestige, meaning luxury, okay, high-end, VIP. So what do we mean when we say prestige high pricing? We use when the products or service is positioned to be luxurious or elegant and elegant. And this strategy seeks to attract a certain type of market or customers. Okay? And meron siyang exclusivity. Most of your market here is class A because of the product's pricing is high or so high. Okay? So anybody who can give me an example of a product or a services that offers prestige pricing. Uh, Diana. Very good. So business class for airline tickets. So not everybody can afford business class when they are traveling or when they are flying. That's why it is being considered as prestige. Imagine you are boarding in a different boarding gate. Di ka kasabay ng mga nasa economy and ikaw yung mauuna dun sa boarding kasi you have a different path. Another one is the services that being offered to you during your flight. Okay, you can recline your chair, you have your tablet where you can watch, you have your full board meal, you have your amenities, so on and so forth. That's what we call prestige pricing. In short, you are VIP because you are paying at a high cost or at a high price. Next, we have market scheming pricing. So what do we mean when we say market scheming pricing? So it means that the company employ the market scheming when the market is price sensitive. Okay? Meaning consumers become price insensitive when demand is high and supply is low. So in short, it is about uh, knowing your target market, checking online, okay, if it's in demand or not. For example, typhoon season, okay? So, you see that it is typhoon season, syempre hindi ka mag-offer ng mga water activities na sobrang tataas ng presyo kasi walang mag-a-avail niyan. Okay? That's what we call market skimming pricing. Another example is if the demand is high, walang pakialam yung customer when it comes to prices or when it comes to the cost of the product. Anybody who can give me an example of a market skimming pricing? Nan, may I call on Almira Kubkubin? Consumers? Yes, dear. Okay. How does Apple relates to market skimming pricing? Very good. So that's what we call market skimming pricing. Apple, when they are releasing a new product, that new product soar high yung prices. Sobrang taas, 'di ba? Pero ang dami pa rin pumipila kahit madaling araw, ang daming nauunang pumila just to get that new brand of Apple. But those brand na mga lower brand ng Apple, bumababa yung prices kasi nga hindi na sila in demand. Kasi may bago ng labas na new brand or new sets. That's what we call market skimming pricing. So the prices depends on the supply and demand of a products and services. Okay, if the demand is high but the supply is low, then rate is high. Please remember that, class. When the demand is high, the supply is low, the price is high. Okay? But vice versa, if if the supply is high, the demand is low, then the price is low. Okay? Next, penetration pricing. So, penetration pricing is putting a very low price to your products and services in order for you to get volumes of sales. Okay? Binababaan mo yung presyo para mas maraming bumili. That's what we call penetration pricing. But, kailan natin ginagawa ang penetration pricing? Okay? Una, kapag bago ka pa lang sa market or i-release mo pa lang yung product mo. Marami nito sa TikTok eh, yung mga nag-a-affiliate. So, bago lang sa market, i-release pa lang yung products, yung services, mura pa yung presyo niya. Kasi nga, you just introducing your product. So, you are just testing the water first. Sine-check mo muna if marami bang bibili or wala. That's why bababaan mo muna yung presyo. And another reason kaya natin ginagawa ang penetration pricing is gusto mo munang magkaroon ng awareness yung mga customers mo. Magkaroon ka muna ng reach, magkaroon ka muna ng followers, magkaroon ka muna ng buyers. So, pinapadami mo muna yung mga um, gustong bumili sa'yo or gustong mag-avail ng product mo. Okay? That's what we call penetration pricing. Next is bundling. From its word bundle. Okay? Meaning, you are grouping two or more products, services into one price. So, very simple lang ito. When we say bundling, buy one, take one, buy two, take one. Buy two, take one or 50% off and you'll get another one products or one services. So, bundle. You are offering or you are pricing your products in a bundle or in a group. Kailan natin siya ginagawa? Anybody? Other hands? Daphne. Okay, for promotion, we are doing it in order for us to promote our business. Others, when is the best time to do bundling? May I call on Kadigal? Yes, dear, loud and clear. Okay, holiday celebration, we can do it as well so that we can attract more profit, more customers. Other, when is the best time to do bundling? Vernies. Okay, so we can also use this during payday sale when the demand is high or when people have a lot of money. Others, when is the best time we can do bundling? Karen. Perfect. Very good. So, we can do bundling during low season kasi mababa yung demand and the product is there. Sabi nga natin, the products and services in the tourism and hospitality is perishable. Ibig sabihin, once natapos yung time, hindi na natin siya pwedeng ibenta ulit or hindi na natin siya pwedeng i-offer ulit kasi obsolete na siya. Okay? So, bundling is the perfect strategy that we can use during low demand or low season. Kasi it tends that people, ay, sige, bilhin na natin to kasi naka-buy one, take one na or may promo sila. So, kunin na natin. Kasi kahit low season, i-avail na natin. That's why you will wonder, even though nasa typhoon season tayo, people are still traveling in Boracay, still traveling in Siargao, even though mabagyo, because they tend to buy that product months ago nung ino-offer ng mga businesses because they already forecasted that this coming months will be low season. So ngayon i-offer na natin 'to para i-avail na nung mga client natin kahit naka-buy one take one or kahit naka-bundle. Okay? So bundling. Alice, would you like to share something? Okay. All right. So that's what we call bundling. Next is psychological pricing, the odd or even. Tinatawag din natin siyang charm pricing. Okay? So, ma'am, what do we call or how do we do psychological or charm pricing? Okay? So, you have to always remember that everybody have their own triggers, whether it is positive or negative. And our actions and behavior tends to boost or to lose based on our ego. Okay? So, when it comes to purchasing, behavior and psychological factors exploit cognitive biases. So, what do we mean by that? So, ibig sabihin, it leverages our emotional triggers and mental shortcuts to make products appear more affordable, valuable, or prestigious. Ibig sabihin, yung mga marketers daw, yung mga business owners, yung mga nagpo-promote ng mga products and services, ginagamitan tayo ng psychological triggers or ng emotional and mental shortcuts. So, paano nila ginagawa yon? Kino-condition nila yung mind natin na kapag mahal yung presyo ng products or ng services, ay mas maganda yung quality. Okay? Another example is yung mga nakikita natin sa supermarket or sa online platforms like 99, 88, 55. So that's what we call psychological pricing. Akala natin mura siya, 'di ba? What do you think is the reason behind? Does anyone here na-attract sa mga ganong promotion? Yung nakita, ay 99 lang oh. Kahit piso lang naman yung pagitan sa 100. So bakit they always tend to put uh, those kinds of number because that's what we call psychological pricing. Meron daw kasing mental conditions or merong stimulus on our brain that when we see odd or even number na we think na mura siya or na condition na yung utak natin or yung isip natin that it is affordable or nakatipid tayo. But in reality, hindi naman. Okay? Another example, yung mga buy one, take one. Nakita mo sa Watsons, yung mga skincare. Uy, naka-buy one, take one siya ngayon. Bili tayo, mura siya. Pero, pagkatapos mong bilihin, na-realize mo, am I really into this product? Kailangan ko ba talaga siya? So, that's what we call psychological pricing. Na ko-condition yung mind natin, charm. Okay, charming, naa-attract tayo because we tend to think that it is mura or okay. Do you still follow? All right. Next. So we are down to the last one, the revenue management. So we are done with the different approaches. We are done with the different um, strategies. Now, how are we going to do revenue management? Okay, so as I mentioned, this is a tourism and hospitality marketing subject. You are not um, uh, marketing students. So we will only discuss the what do you call this? The glance of a revenue management. So hindi kayo magko-compute, don't worry. So for the revenue management, what is it? Okay, what is revenue management? So when we say revenue management, it is a data-driven strategy to maximize revenue and profit by predicting consumer demand and optimizing products, availability, pricing, and distribution. So in short, when we say revenue management, we are trying to forecast, we are monitoring the ins and outs of our products. Okay? Kung paano natin siya nilalagyan ng presyo, paano natin siya dinidistribute sa market, paano natin siya ino-offer or pino-promote, that's what revenue management. Ibig sabihin, we are calibrating, okay, all of the details and informations of our products and services and predict the demands based on our consumer preferences. Okay? So, paano nangyayari? How does revenue management works? What are the things that we are trying to do or trying to execute? So una, as we mentioned, forecasting demand. So we predict the future bookings, historical trends, seasonality, events, and booking pace. So when we are discussing forecasting demands, inaalam natin kung ano yung mga possible movement or actions ng mga customers natin sa environment natin or yung demand. So for example, this coming December, madaming magbubook yan kasi holiday. So dun pa lang, ipaplano mo na agad yung mga products and services na ibebenta mo and kung magkano mo siya pepresyohan. Another example is historical trends. Ay, um, kapag summer, sobrang taas ng demand ng mga water activities. Mag-offer kaya tayo nun or mag-craft kaya tayo ng tour packages for water activities. Kasi yun yung nagte-trend kapag summer. Okay? Seasonality. You forecast kapag low season, bagyo. So, ano yung mga i-offer mo lang na product? Kapag summer season or high season, ano yung mga i-offer mo na services? Or may mga upcoming events, like for example, this coming Holy Week. What do you think is the most in demand products and services that we can offer to our guests? Anybody? Holy Week is coming. How do you forecast demand? What are the demands this coming Holy Week? Angelica. Okay, so the flowers, kaya yung tinatawag nating palaspas, okay? Because we are going to use it this coming Holy Week. Another one, Bernadette. Very good. So most of the time we do fasting during Holy Week season. So we avoid meat. So anong i-offer mo? So you offer food that are not meat related, such as fish, veggies, okay, fruits, so on and so forth. That's what we call forecasting demand when it comes to revenue management. You predict the future. Okay? You predict the actions, the preferences of your guests and consumers. Next, segmentation. So you also divide your products and services, or you also tend to take in consideration the different segments, okay, of your market, because you have to always remember different customers have different willingness to pay. Magkakaiba tayo ng wants, ng needs, depende kung anong segment tayo belong. Next is inventory control. So when we say inventory control, you have to check the availability of your products and services as well. So ilan na lang ba yung numbers of your travel packages? Sa among all of those travel packages, ilang packs yung pwede pang mag-avail? Or sa airline, you have 200 seats in one of your airplane. And out of 206, 70 pa lang yung nabebenta. So you still have 130. What will you do? Okay, another example is in your hotel or accommodation. You have 300 rooms this coming Holy Week. Okay, out of 300 rooms, 250 pa lang yung nabubook. You still have 50 rooms. What will you do? That's what we call inventory control. Now, if I will ask you, why do we need to do inventory control? Other hands. Why do we need to check our supplies? Muyula. Yes, dear. Okay. Very good. So we are planning to do, or we need to do inventory control so that we can monitor our business. In short, okay? We can monitor our supplies. We can check when are we going to purchase another supplies. We can check when will the supplies will expire. We can check if the supplies is enough for the upcoming events, for the upcoming seasonality. That's why inventory control is a must. And last but not the least is distribution management. When we say distribution management, we check how are we going to deliver our products and services from our customers. Okay? So we oversee the entire process of movement of goods from manufacturers to final consumers. Okay? From its development up until makarating siya sa hands ng consumer natin, we have to make sure that those processes are being taken in consideration. Okay? And um, we also do distribution management when it comes to tourism and hospitality using this one. We sell or we deliver our products using online travel agencies. We have a direct website. We partnered with travel agents, with wholesalers. Okay? That's what we call distribution management. Okay? Now, when it comes to distribution management, um, making consideration will always be taken in consideration. Anybody who can give me an idea paano nade-disrupt, okay? How does distribution management disrupt our operation or slow down our operation? Anybody? What's the problem that we can encounter when it comes to distribution management that slows down our operation? Oreno. Very good. We sometimes encounter this in some of the restaurants that we are um, dining in. Ba? There are a lot of menu options, but when you choose that menu, it is not available. There are a lot of menus that are not available in the options because the supplies or the materials being used for that product is not available or is not readily present in the organization. That's why it disrupts its operations. Lastly, Olis, would you like to share something? Okay. All right, so that's what we call distribution management. And that's the end of our discussion.